Welcome to Mary Alice.
What did you do?
We are a Desperate Housewives recap podcast with me, Erin McGee.
And me, Jakub Tansey. Two best friends breaking down each episode until we answer the ultimate question, Mary Alice, what did you do?
Unless, of course, we have finished season 1, in which case, insert new mystery here.
Yes, there's a lot to unpack on Wisteria Lane.
Content warnings can be found in the episode description.
So get comfortable and let's get into this week's episode.
Hello, everyone!
Hi, welcome back.
Welcome back! How are you, Jakub?
I'm good. I'm just so excited that we're so fast approaching the finale.
Oh my goodness. And this episode is amazing.
Yes. Oh my God. And when we finish recording this episode of the pod, we're going to watch the season finale together.
Two of us.
Which we haven't done we haven't watched any episode of Desperate Housewives together since 2012 season 8 finale.
That made me a little bit emotional.
I might get a little bit emotional. How have you been?
I have been really good. I have made a lot of choices. I have made a lot of mistakes this week. I need to tell you about one of them that I feel really bad about. I sourced and bought you a birthday present ages ago.
Okay.
It took a very long time to come. I was very proud of my choice.
Okay.
As it turns out, I found out last week that this is a present that you already have.
What was it?
I got you the dirty laundry game. I found it from a random Etsy seller. And then last week I went, you said we've played a Desperate Housewives board game together. What was it? And you said dirty laundry. And I panicked. And so now I just have a copy of this game.
So now we both have this shit game.
We're one of the 5 people that own this game.
That's, the Desperate Housewives board game, for anyone wondering.
It's like a little tin, and I had this cute vision of me handing it over to you on the pod. And then I thought, he's going to think I lied about buying him a present when it just doesn't show up. But I did buy you a present, but now I have to buy you a different present. And you know how there's a shoebox in my hallway?
Uh-huh.
That's it. I can't even look at it. I was so angry.
This is the definition of it's the thought that counts, because that is such a sweet idea, and you don't have to get me another birthday gift. You simply don't.
Well, it's great because maybe we were speaking earlier before we were having lunch about me carrying a pocket game. Maybe I just carry dirty laundry with me everywhere I go. So that would have been very cute. It
would have almost great content.
I'm sorry for almost being thoughtful.
We played it when we watched that finale, I'm sure. So I've literally had it for 23 years. And I was thinking about how it has been that long since we watched the finale together. And then I had this weird brain meltdown where I was like, what year is it? Is it 2025 or 2026? And I genuinely walked for a whole street trying to remember. I had to check on my phone, Erin. I had to check on my phone what year it was.
You're just living, you need to remember to live in the present. You're living in the future. Have you heard that saying that it's depression is living in the past and anxiety is living in the future?
I don't think so, but that makes, I see the vision for that statement.
Well, of course you see the vision because you're looking into the future always, baby. So we need to talk about this because we're in a little bit of a fight right now. I don't know if you know.
I don't.
Well, because you've not congratulated me.
Did you get the house?
I didn't get that house. I reserved a different house.
And you got it?
Yeah, we've reserved it. It's a new build. It's not. Do you want to see it? It's literally bricks. It's bricks. There's nothing to it.
Everyone who's excited to hear us recap this episode, you simply have to wait.
Well, I was like, oh my God, the apple whites are moving in. And so am I. And you were asking me about the house earlier, and I lied.
You lied
like a
to
rug.
me. That's why we're in a fight, because you fucking lied to me.
Can I just say, that acting degree that I have went to work today. I was like, yeah, it's chill, it's whatever.
It all came down to this.
So that is what has been going on with me.
Well, I simply can't top that. My dad had words to say about the podcast this week.
Is my father-in-law mad at me?
As has been sort of hinted at, my father has been known to be a little bit of a Tom apologist.
He's a sympathetic man.
Yeah, if not...
Your dad's not Tom.
Not Tom. If not a Tom apologist, then maybe like a more of a confused by our extreme response to Tom. And he listened to the episode recently where they play tennis with Alyssa and Dennis and Lynette Meadows and stuff. And my dad was like physically shaking at the fact that you would actually intervene after meeting someone like twice in their marriage. He was like, what do you mean? You've only met them 2 times? He just could not fathom it. And then he told me a story. Give me 2 fake names, man and woman.
Okay, Brenda and David.
And you had a go at me for Brendan being my go-to name, and you're coming at me with Brenda.
Okay, fine. Louise and Patrick.
Okay. So yeah, my parents have these friends, Louise and Patrick, and they are a couple, but they're not the nicest to each other. And my dad was telling me like the amount of times we've been in horrible situations with them and would have never thought to say anything. And after 2 meetings, but anyway, we ended up going on and talking about Tom in general because he just couldn't quite understand the severity of it, especially when characters like Gabby are doing things with like John the Child Gardener.
Absolutely.
And we have a rant about that, but then we're also like, and other times, oh, but this part of the plot line was funny and Gabby was fun in this moment. Whereas with Tom, it's like a blanket, nope, we hate you.
I think that's a very fair take.
But I think we kind of cracked it when we got into it a little bit, because I think that Tom and Lynette are the most realistic couple and like least caricature type characters.
Yes.
And so you kind of relate to them the most by default on that sense. And it feels less like entertainment and more like someone I feel like we can have opinions about.
So first, I got 2 points to this. First of all, Mr. Tansy, not only would I intervene having only met people twice, I would intervene first meeting. I would turn at a table and go, why did you say that? Why did you do that? So I don't think I'll ever be invited for a fun big dinner party at the Tansy household, but I would. That is the woman my mother raised me to be. So if anyone has complaints, they simply must take it up with her. I'm a 30-year-old blaming my mummy for that. The other thing I was going to say is I think you're right. I think with behavior like Gabby's, for example, feels so extreme. The issue, why Tom and Lynette's dynamic hits me so much is they're being held as like, this is a normal family. Nobody's going around doing what Gabby and Carlos are doing. Or at least nobody in my circles is like, I'm throwing a barbecue for me going to jail. Like it's just, that feels like magical realism. It feels just daft and fun and camp and entertainment. So when there's villainous choices, it almost feels fairy tale like. Tom and Lynette's dynamic is they're kind of pushing it as these are the healthy couple on the lane. These are the happy couple on the lane. These are the couple that we are rooting for. And these people are normal. And that's why it gets to me so much, because I'm going, this shouldn't be normalized. I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I do think it's a fair take because, well, I think, not to foreshadow anything, but I've got some
choice things to say this episode.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it then.
Let's get into it.
Edie.
Whoa! Stop right there. Edie.
I do love in my notes that I leave Erin to just mix it up, switch between Edie and Eddie. Just about, even I'm looking now at my like private notes. I've done the same thing.
Which makes it what makes it worse is we do meet a character called Eddie later down the line, and this is going to be very confusing. But But the other thing I wanted to say was before we start, we should tell them what episode it is and what title it is.
I'm so sorry.
Well, normally I wouldn't remember, but I do have a fun fact about it. So the episode is season 1, episode 22, Goodbye for Now. And I found out that, let me get this perfect. So the French have a different title for it, which translates to The Pharmacist is a Junk.
And they're right. That's a far more appropriate title for this episode, I think.
The Pharmacist is a Junk. But I really like seeing what other countries call things like that, because that one feels so different to me. Like the other ones, I think the German title is Helter Skelter.
That's crazy that they're so different.
Yeah. So just
I wonder who makes those decisions, because obviously, like, the titles for the English one is the song names. I assume they're not picking song names from the sound of it in other countries, but like, who makes those decisions? Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is weird that I feel like the episode titles here have a very indirect correlation to the episode, whereas in some countries it's very much like,
here's the synopsis.
George is a creep in this one.
Just FYI. Trigger warning.
Jump scare warning, George.
Just George at all times.
Oh, I'll let you get into it now. So sorry, baby.
Not at all. We needed that.
We do.
So Edie loves to make a construction site entrance, as we see. Mary Alice voiceover tells us that her arrival was always sure to generate a few appreciative glances, a few lascivious looks. Loved the word lascivious, that was fun. And some downright ogling. And unfortunately for Edie, though, Mike couldn't care less.
And that's the only, it says that that is the only person that she wants attention from.
Yeah, she's pretty, she's happy she's getting the attention of the construction workers, but she couldn't care less about them.
I love that she's going through the construction site, like the goddess that she is. It's like a model runway.
Yeah. And she's like she kind of sees Mike go out to get some mail or something, and she tries to wave at him, and he truly doesn't even notice. No. And she looks a bit devastated. But Mary Alice makes personal attacks on me by telling us that Edie knew she needed attention to feel good about herself, and she was determined to get it. Just come right for my bag, don't you, Mary Alice? Fuck you, Angela.
I think when Mary Alice is being nice, we should call her Mary Alice. And when she's being
nasty, it's Angela.
And when she's being nasty, it's Angela.
We are doing it. This is an Angela episode.
Wait, or should it be the other way around? Because Angela has the word angel in it.
No, Angela's the... Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because Mary Alice is fake bitch, fake name.
Yeah. Yeah, Angela's the angel side. Okay, and Mary
Alice. Anyway.
I love sassy Mary Alice, though.
So, anyway, Edie is so far out of the construction guys' league here. But one of them, Cyrus, asks her out. Minor character, another excellent minor character name, Cyrus. Who is
a good-looking fella. I think they're trying to do this joke of like, can you believe that this guy is even daring to approach Edie? And he's adorable.
I don't think they're really commenting on that. I think it's just there to show Edie as like, she can get any man she wants kind of thing.
I just think that whenever I see scenes like this, I always think about the actors who are auditioning for those parts, where it's like, can you play like average? We're looking for someone that is... Yeah, we're looking for someone who is out of somebody's league or... you know what I mean? It's just... Anyway.
Yeah, but I get your point. So she decides to bring Mike some donuts, but really she's bringing Mike her boobs because they are so on show and I loved it. So she brings over donuts and she's being a little bit flirty with Mike, but then Susan jump scares her and literally pops out of the doorway in some really nice lingerie. It's been a
gorgeous.
While. It's been a while since we've had an appearance from the Wisteria Lane lingerie collection.
And also, it feels a lot more grown up than when she was kind of playing this. When her and Mike were still kind of in their infancy, if you will, and they'd like not really slept together very often. This feels a bit more comfy, authentic, grown up. And then, sorry, Edie says, "Nice ensemble." And I'm letting you know now, using it. I heard it and I went, oh, I'm just going to take that and put that in my little pocket. Nice ensemble.
So Edie didn't know they were back together. So this really was a jump scare for her. So Susan sends Mike off with the donuts so that she can have a moment with Edie to reprimand her.
Although Edie's defense is amazing.
This might be my quote of the week, actually.
Yeah.
So basically, Susan's like, you wasted your time with these donuts. And Edie says, not if you choke on them. That cracked me up so much.
That got me too. And then just before that, she Susan's basically like, how could you do this, Edie? And Edie goes, you thought he was a murderer.
And that's your selling point to come flirt with him?
Valid. Also, thought he was a murderer of your best friend, Edie. But this is what Martha would have wanted.
We also know that Edie's not below sleeping with potential murderers after hooking up with Paul.
I think it's nice that, so Edie is I prefer to think of Edie as a man curator. And her collection is extensive. She has some antiques. She has a bit of everything from different places, different walks of life.
Edie leaves and Susan goes to run home for something, but Mike says, wouldn't it be easier if we just moved in together?
Crazy.
Blah, blah, blah. They decide to move in together very spontaneously. So
Crazy. Okay? Beyonce and Crazy, her husband. But what is going on? There are two things. This is crazy on both of their parts. Mike is crazy because he is only in the lane, as far as we know, temporarily until he essentially kills whoever killed Deirdre, and then he's supposedly going to disappear. That's crazy in itself.
I think that Mike's in a position now where he's like, I'm going to make it work with Susan, regardless of what else. Because otherwise, I don't think they'd be getting back together.
Okay, fine. I'll take this in defense of Mike. Susan agrees to move in with this man without speaking to Julie about it first.
I mean, I just was so not surprised by this behavior from them. Where I'm so used to it. It makes sense for them.
Whose house are they going into? Are they moving to Mike's? Are they moving to Susan's? What does this mean? What does this mean for Julie? What's going on? I'm so stressed out for Julie in advance because you know who's going to have to pack everything up? Julie.
Yeah. So Susan runs after Edie to apologize for being rude. And on a completely unrelated note, Mike and I are moving in together. See ya. I want to hate her because she's being such a bitch to Edie, but it really did make me laugh so much.
Oh no, I loved all of this. I think it's fun now that Edie, what is canon is that after the instant where Susan dated that construction worker, Edie's like, you're dead to me, you're my enemy. And we've got this frenemy dynamic back in full force. In fact, it's a lot more enemy than frenemy. But I like Susan more when she is like this. She's not pretending to be a good person, and she's not pretending that she just happens to be rubbing this in her face. She is going directly to the source and doing it, and I feel like I have more respect for her that way.
Absolutely. So the scene ends.
It's a really long scene.
Yeah. The scene ends with Edie knowing that she still needs that attention that Mary Alice was talking about. So she pulls back up to the construction site and calls over to Cyrus, telling him to meet her at a hotel in half an hour, welcoming him to the majors. I don't have a vision for this. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Do you have anything in mind? Should we go with the classic, if not? I
was gonna go and then do. I'll do that bit, and then you go into the doobie doobie doo because it's a medley. Okay, right? You get the concept. 1 and a 2 and a do 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 do. That was our EastEnders Desperate Housewives mashup. The ideas are getting thin.
That one's for the Brits.
Edie Brit.
There we go. All right, why don't you take us away with Gabby?
So, we are on the lane, and Mr. and Mrs. Edward Mullins are moving.
Edwin Mullins.
Oh. Because I was thinking about Edward Cullen.
Of course, and my note is, I'm sorry, but is Stephanie Meyer a Desperate Housewives fan?
Yes!
She had Edward Mullins and thought,
Edward
wait
Cullen.
a minute.
I made the same connection. So, we are on the lane, and Mr. and Mrs. Edwin Mullins are moving out. Their street had arson, murder, and blackmail. And they're the only people who are appropriately responding to the events of the lane this year.
They must be raging at how much the plot has affected the value of their home.
I know.
They were accepting offers under for sure.
Yes. And Mary Alice says, and again, I think this is her real personality coming out a bit. Nobody really cared that they left. I think they weren't involved in the drama. Nobody even noticed they were gone. Love. Gabby comes over outside to see Justin.
I've written Andrew the whole
I
way
told
through
you.
my notes.
So in Jakub's notes, he wrote Andrew, and then I saw he in the description he put Gabby slaps Andrew, and I was so confused because Andrew is not in this scene, and then I realized what he'd done. Jakub thinks all gay men are the same.
I really do.
So Gabby comes over to Justin, offering him water. But Justin is upset with her. He is Team John, the adult gardener. And he is like, how dare you say that John can't raise this baby? It might be his baby. And then he calls her an unfeeling bitch. And Gabby slaps him. Carlos sees this from the window. And Carlos is sus.
Gabby collects the mail the next morning.
Everyone's getting mail.
They can't get enough of it.
Mail is the theme.
And from this mail, said mail, the titular mail, she discovers that Carlos was the one messing with her birth control.
Finally!
Yeah, basically it's like a claim from insurance for a year's worth of birth control dated from when Mama Solis was in a coma.
And she is not ordering pills in a coma. And I like that
Famously
Gabby...
difficult to do.
Huge if true. And Gabby is so nonchalant here that I love it.
Yeah, Carlos comes downstairs and he's like, oh, where are you going? And she's like, oh, I just wanted to say goodbye because I'm leaving you. She's got like her bag. So
Her Louis Vuitton. And also it's the fact that these two characters we have seen continuously overreact. And here, she completely underreacts in a lot of ways. And it's just it's such an interesting choice.
I mean, she does blow up at him a bit after he confronts her there.
Because he's denying it. Yeah.
Yeah. So she basically goes to leave. Carlos chases after her, trying to get physical with her again by grabbing her arm. But she's like, the baby on board. And so she's getting in the car and he's like, where are you going? I'll be in jail tomorrow. And she's like, that's why I only packed one bag.
And also, it is so insignificant. But while they're having this conversation, Carlos beforehand has been eating cereal.
It's the morning meal.
But it's just the way he's like, going to jail tomorrow, just gonna have some Cheerios.
Yeah, actually that's a fair point. I'd be having like chicken pad thai every day. Exactly.
I'd be going hard on like a full breakfast.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I'm content with some cereal. Anyway.
So she's about to drive away when Carlos is yelling after her about their baby. So Gabby stops briefly to look at him and say, oh, Carlos, whoever said you were the father? And she gives him a devilish little eyebrow raise and drives off. And it is a very satisfying scene, I think, after so much secrecy between them on so many accounts. And I couldn't remember how or when this came out in the show. So it was nice to have that moment of like, there's been so much tension around this secret.
I think it's also interesting. They set this up well, I think, for Gabby's character to have that satisfying moment, because Gabby is a villain in this arc in a lot of ways. In the marriage, not in this arc, I guess. But with Carlos messing with her birth control and manipulating her and being physical with her about the divorce paper. And even here, very significantly, before she does this reveal, he says, what about my baby? And she says, oh, your baby? And he goes, fine, our baby. And the possessiveness of that, again, does feed into this idea that Gabby's been giving us all season about her feeling very controlled and then needing to do something that felt reckless.
Definitely.
So it was just interesting.
It was.
Do you know, a lot of this episode for me is people making awful choices, but written in such an entertaining way.
In a way that it's like, I don't agree with these choices, but they make sense and I can understand your thought process to get there.
When you're at lunch with a friend and they're telling you something and you're like, you should not have done that. But gosh darn, is this a good story?
Can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait.
That's the concept of the show.
That is it. It's like fun brunch tales.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to rename the show.
That'll be like a anthology version of Desperate Housewives. Each episode, it'll be like American Horror Story style. It'll be the same cast in each episode, but they're all playing different characters, different relationships, doing stupid shit.
Having brunch at the country club.
Yes, that's where the kind of like between each story takes place. The little bit of narration, like the MC of the anthology. Anyway, getting way too sidetracked.
No! Jakub likes to keep us on the course. I like to drift.
Drift. Tokyo Drift. Erin, why don't you tell us about the upcoming Fast and Furious movie in this next scene?
Okay, so remember where we were before? Gabby has sped away in the car and Carlos has watched her. Edie then pulls up. Carlos takes the car immediately and Edie grabs her purse, which I love. As soon as he's jumped in the car, she takes the purse and shouts after him that he's a criminal. And we
Factually correct.
Factually correct. And yes, we have Fast and Furious Wisteria Drift. And it's just this insane chase scene. And weirdly, this is the only time there's not a car accident. And the police get an alert because Carlos, you might have forgotten this, has an ankle monitor. So he has violated his house arrest the day before he goes to jail, exactly. Which is not a good look because you even hear them over the kind of walkie-talkies saying running from the feds. Yes. As if this is him making a last-ditch effort to escape prison. Not a good vibe. But this was absolutely insane. Wild behaviour.
I feel so bad for Edie. She's just minding her business, putting up the sold sign for the Mullins house. Oh.
But also, even though she's like, oh, you criminal! So chill for someone stealing her car.
To be fair, she can walk home. She lives down the road.
What would have really seasoned this episode for me a little bit extra is so Gabby gets off in the car. Carlos gets in Edie's car and chases. Edie gets on Ashley's bike. It starts.
Hell yeah. And then it's like you forget about it, and at the end of the episode, she finally catches up and gets her car back. Or just in like the background at the start of every scene, you see her cycling in the background.
And she's getting more and more out of breath.
Incredible. The real stories of the show.
Yep.
So Gabby turns up to John's place, only in my notes Andrew, but as we know, only Justin is home. And she tells him that she left her husband. And then we see Carlos parked outside, kind of waiting to, assessing the situation, trying to catch Gabby in the act, I guess, or find out who she's with. And she sees Justin walk out with Gabby to her car and they hug. Sees. Yes, so confused with all these incorrect names in my notes. Yes, Carlos sees Gabby and Justin walk out to her car and they hug.
Which immediately Carlos goes, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And they're outside a beautiful apartment complex.
Were we led to believe earlier this was student accommodation? Because that's kind of mad if it is.
I think it's just young folk. But how John's gardening business must be doing so well.
I mean, it does eventually take off, I'm sure, if I remember correctly.
We'll get there.
But we then get a shot that perfectly mirrors when Carlos committed a hate crime against the gay cable guy, if you remember that, of Justin answering the door to Carlos, who immediately punches him and starts beating him up. Carlos really needs to stop with the strategy of shoot first, ask about sexuality later. It's not working out for him.
And the tally goes up. We have our second hate crime. Second accidental hate crime as well. And Carlos just keeps thinking that gay men are sleeping with Gabby. And And also, a touch that I really liked, the last two scenes, Justin's trying to eat his sandwich and then Gabby comes in and then he's trying to eat the sandwich again and Carlos knocks on the door. Will Justin ever get his sandwich?
Find out here on Mary Alice, what did you do?
But he definitely doesn't, because Carlos beats him to a pulp. It is extensive. Yeah. And the police arrive, immediately arresting Carlos. Justin is being taken away on a stretcher.
Yikes.
And after Justin says that he's gay to the policeman, Carlos says, "Oh, this is not happening again."
The police are like, "Again?"
Carlos is like, "This is kind of my thing. Everyone has a niche."
Yeah, I have my podcast about all the gay guys I beat up.
Yeah, it's like I run essentially Sheen. And then on the side, I'm a vigilante where I commit hate crimes.
It's more of a passion project. I don't make any money from it.
Yeah.
So we then see in the jail visiting room as Carlos comes clean to Gabby about beating up the cable guy, as he is now being charged with a hate crime. And he tries to defend himself, saying that she provoked him into it. But no, Carlos, honey, you will not win any points from us this episode as a reason for beating people up, being that he was provoked by his wife.
He says that they are calling him a serial gay basher, which is very funny because he was eating cereal in the beginning. But also, Gabby says, "Well, you sort of are," because he... It's such a nice subversion that we get in this scene because
so it becomes clear that Gabby has gone back on her earlier implied confession, as it seems Carlos has assumed that she was lying in order to provoke him about him not being the father, and she is absolutely rolling with it. And Carlos wants her to lie again and tell the cops that she really was having an affair and that he just beat up the wrong guy.
Which is the actual truth!
Yes!
I love this episode!
And but Carlos should be punished, but not for a hate-motivated crime. So I'm like, I kind of on Carlos's side in terms of you should say that. Carlos should still be punished, but you know what I mean. I feel like it's a lesser punishment, if that makes sense, for hate-motivated crimes. Am I making that up?
No, you're not making that up. I think he's committed assault twice. He should also be charged with messing with Gabby's birth control.
Oh, yeah.
He should also be charged with what he's doing with these kind of sweat workshops things he's involved in.
I mean, yeah, lots of things.
And then across the way, at another prison, Gabby's in jail.
They can see each other from their little cell block windows.
And they can wave to each other.
And give each other the finger. So basically, Carlos doesn't want to be put away for up to 8 years for a hate crime, he says. But due to his messing with Gabby's birth control, she's lost her freedom for the next 18 years, she tells him, right before walking away. And thus ends Fast and Furious Wisteria Fastlane.
Carly are drifting. Lynette shows up at Tom's office with a cake for Tim Dugan, who is coming back to work after his heart attack.
I know you were all missing him. We were.
Are you having an affair with Tim Dugan?
Cheating on who? On you?
So Lynette looks absolutely stunning. Nice ensemble. And she has been coming in every day. Tom says this behavior has to stop. To which I say, Lynette did warn Tom that she would be in and every single day if he continued to work with Annabelle. So really, Lynette is doing the honourable thing by sticking to her word. So Lynette is going through to the kitchen area and she sees Annabelle, Tom's ex-girlfriend.
I like when Annabelle arrives and they're arguing about her. Lynette's like, speak of the devil. And I mean that.
So Annabelle kind of remarks on how often Lynette has been in the office. But Lynette's just there to, give some cake. And she says, can I cut you a piece?
That was great.
That might be my quote of the week.
Very fair.
If not an honourable mention. However, the results are in. Tim Dugan is not returning to work.
We're all so devastated. I know we are.
We have to split, and they have to split up all of his job roles. So basically, this is the classic work landscape that we're all in now. Somebody is not backfilling. Everyone's jobs are getting bigger for the same amount of pay, but we're not asking you to do more with less. You know, that whole shebang. Annabelle is given one of Tim Dugan's projects in Hawaii, and she says that it's too big and she will need someone to help her with it. She, of course, picks Tom. And Lynette approaches with a full-on knife in her hand, and Tom knows his wife well enough to physically hold her back.
She's like cutting the cake in the background, and when Tom's picked, she just like shoots around holding this knife very threateningly. It's hilarious.
Again, nobody's coming out well in this scene, but I'm having a great time.
Yeah. So we then see Lynette at lunch with our pilot episode extra bestie, Nat, who I was shocked to see because I truly thought she was purely like a bookends character for the show in the very first and very last episode. So I was like, what are you doing in the middle?
This is the type of woman that I said I want Lynette with in the remake.
Yes.
A career shark, a go-getter.
Yes.
Go get your girl, Nat. Go get your girl.
Do it. So it is Lynette's old coworker friend from her business days who is very much still in the game. And Lynette is trying to sell her on the idea of poaching Tom, basically to separate him from Annabelle. But Nat isn't keen on Tom. She wants a ruthless shark like Lynette.
It's really interesting that before job discussions are even on the table, Nat is basically saying she would take Lynette back in a millisecond. She compares Lynette to a shark. She says she is cutthroat. She even says to Lynette about Tom, is he as good as you? Mm-hmm. And I think we all know by this point that when it comes to the corporate aspect of their world, Tom is not as strong as Lynette, but Lynette is gracious and says, he's apples, I'm oranges.
But Nat doesn't want oranges, she wants apples. Or the other way around, whichever one Lynette came out on top of.
Well, actually, Nat wants neither. She wants a shark. And Lynette has someone to offer up on a platter to her.
Indeed. If Lynette wasn't so focused on her mission, she'd probably appreciate the ruthless like a shark comment more, because it really is meant as a compliment.
Yeah.
And I feel like Lynette, it must be good for Lynette to feel that she still is sort of like desirable in the workplace.
I think as well, women are kind of, were. I think it's changing now, but we're conditioned that was a compliment for men, but not for women.
Yeah.
And I think as well, what's interesting about this scene in particular is that Lynette is then ruthless. Lynette is shocked by being called a shark and cutthroat, and then makes a very cutthroat, ruthless decision.
Which she has done on several occasions, so it is accurate. And that's not a good or bad thing in certain contexts. That is just who Lynette is.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously the shark she's offering up on a platter is very much Annabelle, clearly. It's not said explicitly, but it's very much implied.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we then cut to Annabelle being seen by Tom shaking hands with their boss. Annabelle comes out and tells Tom that she has been given Tim Dugan's old job because the other firm approached her and they are now matching that offer so that they can keep her. Tom, I think this is valid. This is going to sound like a criticism of Tom, but it's genuinely not. It's just an observation. Tom does not like it when women do better than him. And I do think that is part of his reaction here. The other part is very valid, which is where he comes in to the office, to the boss, shows a backbone. He says, look, you've passed me up for promotion twice. I have been doing the work to cover Tim Dugan. And Tom says he's going to quit. The boss reveals that Lynette meddled, and that's why Tom didn't get the vice president position. However, the boss deeply over-exaggerates what Lynette did.
We literally saw what Lynette did, though.
Yes. And we saw Lynette manipulate and say, he'll never be home, which is just true.
This was quite a few episodes ago now.
Yes. Mm-hmm. The boss says that Lynette went specifically to his wife and begged her not to give Tom the position.
To be fair to the boss, that could be the way the wife painted the picture to him.
Yes, which is, but it means that Tom has been told that Lynette begged.
I would argue
and she didn't do that.
That whether she begged or merely manipulated is kind of irrelevant. It's the fact that she meddled in his getting promoted in the first place. It's how she goes about it, I think, is less important.
I think that's fair, but I think I disagree only because the way that she manipulated the things that she said were all true. And so to me, it's different that he wouldn't be home as much, that he wouldn't be seeing his kids grow up in the same way.
Yeah, those things would still be true had she begged, but the result is the same.
I think outright begging, I do agree with you that the result is the same. I just think that begging is a more intense involvement.
Well, and manipulating is a more sneaky involvement. It's apples and oranges.
It's apples. That's such a good observation. It's apples and oranges.
And Tom, he doesn't like fruit.
And Tom is a baby shark.
Oh, right. Okay. Took me a second to make that connection.
Your eyes went wide like you were Raven from That's So Raven having a vision. You were like...
Can I say I've never watched that before?
No, you can't say that.
Okay. I take it back then. It's my favorite show after Desperate Housewives. So, also, did they fire Tim Dugan? Because he was on sick leave. Are they just like, nah, he's taking too long. He's fired. We're giving this job to someone else. R.I.P. Tom. Tim.
Tom and Tim. I think that they needed somebody to cover him and they realized that he'll be like long-term off.
So it's more of a secondment, perhaps.
Maybe it's quiet firing.
Quiet fire, yeah. It's reshuffling. Anyway,
let's find out what's going on at these marketing firms.
Woo! Wait, Tom, we don't actually see Tom say anything to finding out that Lynette had meddled in his potential promotion. He just we see him kind of look in shock a little bit. And
again, not to stick up for Tom, but I think that's a very valid reaction. I think he has a very valid reaction to that.
Yes. Yeah, he actually doesn't come across badly in this episode at all. He's just there. He doesn't do anything good. He's just there.
I think, I like Tom a lot more when people are talking at him. I feel like that's where he thrives.
He does well as decor.
He's such good decor. He's a bowl of apples in the middle of the table.
Which he hates to see.
Isn't it interesting, though, that the opening... I mean, it's just a coincidence. It's fine. But the opening image is all these women holding apples and to compare the men to an apple in some way.
Yeah.
Especially when we've related that before to, the original sin of, Eve eating the apple. Yeah. I just think it's an...
I see the vision.
It's going to be part of my thesis, Jakub.
I can't wait.
We can now move on to our favourite cheese. Brie.
So, we kick off Brie's plotline with another secret friendship date with George. And she's being so unforgivably flirty at mini golf, distracting him by initiating so much physical touch to this man that she knows has had feelings for him from her perspective, clearly still has.
Yeah, it feels so un-Brie, especially when we don't see her like this with Rex or anybody else.
Crazy.
As I've said before, I'm a very affectionate, touchy-feely person. But you can look at me with one friend and look at me with another friend, and it's the same. The issue is that this is different.
Yeah. I feel like if this had kept going, she could have ended up in a full-blown affair, not just an emotional one.
It's really, really odd. And this kind of arc at the moment, I'm not going to lie, I know that we're still really early on with Brie, but it feels very out of character.
It does. But she initiates a more little bit of physical contact with George, and then he suddenly doesn't want to swing his golf club, revealing that he has a massive boner. Or it could be a small boner. We don't actually see.
And yes, we are two 30-year-olds laughing at a boner.
I'm not laughing at the word boner. I'm laughing at just the uncomfortableness of the situation.
Yeah, I know.
There's like a
Same.
family waiting behind them to have their go at the mini golf thing.
Mini golf.
He's like frozen. He's not moving because he doesn't want the boner to be revealed. Bree is rethinking this friendship, considering it a betrayal that he still has feelings for her. And I'm just like, does she not understand biology? She's all like flirty with him and stuff, with a man who liked her before and now he has a boner. It's like, calm down, Brie.
She knows he has been physically attracted to her in the past.
George admits to still liking her, being like, is it a crime to love you silently or something like that? And he kind of drags Rex for cheating on her and really kind of just like, I feel like he lets out a lot of pent up thoughts in this moment. So they have another friendship breakup. We need to start a count for that, Jesus. And then George makes a comment about how this is crazy after everything I've done for you, almost letting slip about Rex's meds tampering.
This is so interesting because it's our latest example of the mask slipping with George. And also, again, his entitlement towards Bree is so gross. Did you ever watch Crazy Ex-Girlfriend? Crazy Ex-Girlfriend has a song in it, and it's after everything I've done for you. And the other character responds that I didn't ask for. And that's what this is. That's what this is getting at. I've done so much for you. And she didn't ask for any of it. She didn't want any of it. Really, he wanted it. And now he's saying that she should be thankful for doing what he wanted to do.
Crazy.
When Bree is trying to stop him from having an erection, she says, think of famine, disease, or hobos. Just reminding me of like lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Famine, disease, or hobos. Oh my.
Going down the mini golf brick road.
I also find it really interesting that we see them at a very classic early date establishment. She said that she liked George because George is her cultural friend. They're not at a museum. This isn't a cultural activity. They're not looking at paintings. They're at what is like a childish kind of...
Which is high school first date.
High school first date. This is a Susan and Mike date that they're on.
Oh my God, that's such a power description. Then the next talk about the cruiser.
In our next scene, George breaks into the Van de Kamp home to mess further with Rex's medication. It feels like whatever he was doing before, he is upping the ante.
Oh, I presumed they changed pharmacist because Rex mentions we should change pharmacist too. So now he's like, well, I need to find a way to mess with his meds. I'm going to break in.
That would make a lot of sense. I just hadn't had the confirmation yet, so I wasn't entirely sure, but that works. Let's go with that. He opens Bree's underwear drawer, pulls out her underwear, places like a mock outfit of her body onto the bed and takes a picture of it. He then finds a box of sex toys, handcuffs, the riding crop, some underwear, and smirks to himself, and it's so creepy. I hate it. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for breaking into people's houses. I'm all for crime, but not when you're being creepy about it.
Be classy with your crime.
Classy crimes only.
Potential episode title.
No, it's so gross. What I don't understand is, where are the Van de Kamps?
Well, we haven't seen Andrew in ages. Danielle's probably home just brushing her hair and not being bothered that someone's home.
Where are Rex and Bree?
Well, we saw them get in the... Oh, well, they're probably at the doctor's office, which is the next
it's
scene.
really late at night, and then the doctor's...
No, it's the middle of the day.
Is it the middle of the day?
Because we see Bree and Rex get in the car and drive away. George is like waiting on the street for them to head out. And the next scene is them at the cardiologist office. I'm guessing it's one after the other.
You're doing very good work with this timeline. I'm all over the place.
Mike could never.
Mike could never.
So we see Rex with his cardiologist, who is basically suggesting getting another opinion because he's out of ideas since Rex is not responding to his medication. When he steps out of the room, Rex looks really like he's at the end of his wit.
Yeah.
Bree tries to comfort him, but Rex says that particular doctor has the biggest ego of anyone he knows. And remember, Rex is a doctor, so he knows the community, I guess. That if he's looking to consult with someone else, then he's screwed. And Rex is very well aware of the fact that he could die if he doesn't improve. And this is the first time that's kind of the seriousness of this, of what Rex is going through, is actually being acknowledged. And it must actually, I thought about it, I was like, it must be really scary to be sick as a doctor, because if it's serious, you're not able to have the same kind of hope as the rest of us ignorant normies when it comes to health stuff. So he must be so terrified.
Yeah.
And he does snap a bit at Bree, maybe understandably, given what he's kind of going through right now.
I kind of thought this was understandable for a moment of him kind of having to deal with potentially his own death.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was really beautiful. I don't know if I messed up for saying that, but the way that Bree kind of speaks to him and says, you know, I could die tomorrow. I could be hit by a car. Let's just, no matter how much time we have left together, let's just be kind to each other.
It's so devastating, but so sweet at the same time. It's a hard scene.
Yeah, in some ways, I don't know if in that specific scenario, I would be able to hear that. And I'm glad that Rex is. I think my logic would be like, I'm the one facing this right now. How dare you? I have just been told that I essentially could be dying. But he really does take that on board.
Yeah.
And it's really beautiful. And I think this is one of those times where he looks at her and I'm like, he is in love with her.
Yeah. And it also just makes you realize just how sinister George's intentions are as well. Like, he's always been creepy and clearly not a good person, but it's like, damn, you were literally slowly murdering this person. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh. So, our next scene. We're at a supermarket. R.I.P. Martha Hooper, who was the general manager.
It's just so sad.
Oh, Bree is shopping and spots George. And she clocks him for shopping on the other side of town from where he lives. Eventually, though, Bree seems to fall for the lie that George presents, that he has a friend and she recently had surgery and he is picking up some things for her. He then uses the box that he found in the Van de Kamp home to manipulate Bree, saying that he overheard other doctors talking essentially about Bree and Rex's sex life and all of the details of them doing S&M together. And Bree is horrified. She walks away. She abandons the cart. This is for someone who, like Bree, who is so obsessed with pride and public image. This is devastating.
Yeah. He's just so evil at this point, George, is that it's practically hard to see him as a real person. He's definitely this is what we're talking about earlier with like Tom being so real. We can relate to that. This is like a super villain. That feels like it's part of the entertaining narrative. It's also, how can you like criticize a supervillain? It's not like they're going to listen to constructive criticism. They're evil.
Well, yeah, I yearn for Tom to learn his lesson. I know George won't.
Yeah, that's the difference. And if anything, that gives hope for Tom's character versus a character like George.
Yes, Tom is very much, I'm trying to root for you here, buddy. I want you and Lynette to be in a marriage that is healthy and happy because I want Lynette to be happy. Yeah, it's neither here nor there. Bree has unknowingly, and this is not her fault, I want to be clear, by pursuing this friendship with George and going back to this friendship with George, he's gotten to know her better. And because he's gotten to know her better, he knows exactly how to wreck her marriage.
Yeah.
If this had happened earlier on, I don't know if he would have been as able to accurately identify her Achilles heel like this. It's the people that know you the best that know how to hurt you.
We then see Rex wake up in the middle of the night to see Bree sitting by the window, unable to sleep herself.
She looks like a painting.
She does. It's very beautiful, but sad. She's busy thinking about how the biggest mistake of her life was agreeing to marry Rex.
Oi.
Yikes.
Oof.
She basically accuses him of the lie that George told her of spreading the goss about their sex life. And obviously, Rex is trying to defend himself because he didn't. But Bree isn't buying it. There's been too many betrayals. And basically, the fight escalates into a shouting match. And this continues until Rex winces, crouching down and realizing that he is having a heart attack.
Rex down. Rex down.
Bree is panicked and tells Rex to go downstairs and that she'll be right there.
So this scene is so tricky because I understand why Bree doesn't trust Rex, because he's had this affair and betrayed her trust. But she is believing someone who is not in her marriage more than her own husband. And I do think part of it is that it's because it's her worst fear. And that, for whatever reason, makes it easier for her to believe.
It's almost like she was anticipating it happening because she was so worried about it. And so it makes it more believable. Yeah,
I wonder if ever since they got back together, she's been waiting for the other shoe to drop with them.
That makes sense.
The next time, we see Rex waiting on the stairs to go to the hospital, and he is found by Danielle, who is in her PJs. Danielle is talking about, why isn't Mum here to take you to the hospital yet? Why are you waiting on the stairs? And she is a bothered queen. She goes into that bedroom to find Bree, but Bree is, I would say, borderline catatonic. I don't think this is out of badness. It's like she's fully lost it, and Danielle is trying to snap her out of it.
Yeah, I've written that my only reasonable take on this scene is that Bree is in full shock.
I think she is. I think she is, her brain has started to completely disassociate. And so she does what she knows how to do, her coping mechanism of cleaning. She is making the bed and making sure it's perfect. She has pearls on. She has a full Chanel type outfit. And Danielle's the one saying to her, we should go now. You should go now. And she, even the way Danielle handles it, I actually think is quite interesting. It's not, what the heck are you doing? It's more, Mum, come on. Like, I really felt for Danielle in this moment, having to navigate her dad who is having a heart attack and her mum who is basically in a catatonic state. Love you, Danielle.
Crazy. She can switch it on when she needs to. She
said, you woke me up. I was brushing my hair in my sleep. It was my favorite type of dream.
And that is the end of Bree's arc. So we'll have to wait for next time to discover the fate of Rex.
Where's Andrew?
Probably staying at Justin's, I assume, since he's not been in it for bloody ages.
This means that
he's busy. He said he was going to be like the perfect child, so he's probably in bed at a very reasonable hour, keeping to himself, being quiet.
Yeah, wake up. Dad's having a heart attack. When Bree was like, wake up, kids. Dad's going to do one in front of us. Do you remember?
Daddy's going to fornicate for us.
Yes.
Oh, that feels like a lifetime ago.
But yeah, where is that? If Andrew is staying with Justin, he can't be because Justin's in the hospital on a stretcher.
Maybe, yeah.
Because he's been hate-crimed.
Maybe he's at the hospital. Which is perfect because they'll already be there when Rex arrives.
Andrew said, work smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
Edie witnesses Mike and Susan kissing, happy, on their front lawn. Can't work out if they're at Susan's house or Mike's house they're moving into yet. Can't remember. Irrelevant.
Sorry, but Mary Alice's voiceover for that bit is, later that day, Edie Britt witnessed something disturbing.
I think Mary Alice doesn't ship Susan and Mike together. I think Mary Alice... Oh, I'm cooking. Hold on.
I know where you're going.
Mary Alice hates Mike.
Yeah.
That's why because Mike is jeopardizing Zach and Paul.
She wants him out of the picture.
She wants him out of the picture. And that's why she made fun of his detective work. And that's why she is not on board for Susan and Mike.
I agree.
She is team Edie. Mary Alice is team Edie.
Episode title. Oh, there's so many potential episode titles this week.
So we cut to poker night and Edie is there. She is wearing a nice ensemble. She is wearing a stunning red dress. And Edie decides to manipulate here.
Yeah.
To be fair though, once again, Edie is manipulating very well because she's telling nothing but the truth. She is talking about the fact that Susan and Mike moving in together is very quick. True. Talking about the fact that they still don't know what really happened with the gunshot wound. True. Bree even remarks, I know guns, and that wound was not self-inflicted. Edie brings up that the kids, Lynette's kids, found Martha's bracelet covered in blood in Mike's house. True. But Edie knows that the real way to rile up Susan is to rile up the gals. And again, similar to George, because she now knows Susan so well, she is able to pinpoint the exact thing to do to get to her. Yeah. I shouldn't be rooting for it, but it's just so funny.
I loved her outfit in this scene. I said that it's reminiscent of the revenge dress that Ariana wore to the Vanderpump Rules season 10 reunion. The girls who get it.
That is outfit of the life.
Of the life.
Not my life.
I also love Edie's manipulation when she's like, are you saying we should put a stop to this? She normally prefers not to get involved, she says.
She says, I prefer not to get involved, but then she mentions later that this is not her first intervention. Am I Edie?
Oh, God. In the next scene, Susan brings up to Mike that she has found bullets and raises it with Mike, basically saying, we can't have a gun in the house if we're going to move in together. I'm a no-gun household. And Mike agrees. And Susan seems shocked at how easy it was. And, 3 cheers for good communication. Very simple, actually.
What I find odd is we're getting multiple scenes of them moving, right? They live directly opposite each other and everything is coming out of the car.
Oh, yeah.
What that means that they are packing everything into the car, driving 5 centimeters.
To be fair.
Then reversing the car.
If it's a densely packed truck full of really heavy things. Remember when that fucking house flooded when we were or potentially flooded when we were recording episode 2 and we moved everything literally it's a 5-minute walk and my dad drove us with all the stuff.
But this is less than a 5-minute walk. It's opposite.
I get it. It's a lot of back and forth with individual boxes.
It's really bad for the environment. Really bad for the environment.
It's bad for your back to be walking with all these boxes is what it is.
I love that you were like, do you remember when my flat flooded? I know that neither of our memories are particularly great, Jakub. But I remember your flat flooding.
Also, not my flat, also didn't actually flood.
But we did think the ceiling was going to cave in. That was episode 2. Oh my God, we've come such a long way.
We have. But after Susan realizes how easy it is to have a conversation like that, she says that maybe after lunch they can talk about his leather beanbag chair.
Also, these little things really annoy me. And I know they shouldn't. I know they don't annoy you. We have never seen a leather beanbag chair in Mike's house.
I feel like I see it in my mind's eye. Mike's sitting there looking at all of his detective work, trying to put the pieces together, but nothing's fitting. At the end of the scene, Mike looks down the street and sees Paul jumping out of a car, dropping a box at Felicia's house or Martha's house and driving away again.
In the next scene, Zach, I'm not going to lie, Zach's now on his 3rd mother. And after the 2nd, I would start to go, I'm the common denominator here. Perhaps I'm the problem.
Not that.
I'm just thinking about that bit in The Importance of Being Earnest, which we did in high school, where it was like, to lose one parent is unfortunate. To lose 2 seems careless. Okay, so Felicia is doing the Tarzan thing and is like, I'm going to be your mama now. And Felicia's eyes in this scene are genuinely misty, which is odd. Zach is really furious. One, because he has been dumped with Felicia. He feels like his dad hasn't given him a proper goodbye. He's really frustrated. And Paul has left a catcher's mitt. And he's saying, I cannot believe he's left me a catcher's mitt. He knows I hate baseball. He throws it, he leaves. But Felicia.
She's a smart lady.
I think Felicia, at the moment, is the smartest person on the lane.
Mm-hmm.
And by a lot. She puts on the catcher's mitt, realizes there's a hidden note inside. The hidden note is from Paul to Zach. It says, I didn't leave you. Meet me Thursday at the baseball field. And Felicia scrunches it up immediately, destroying it.
At midnight.
How many notes have there been?
Felicia's maybe realizing a little bit. She's also taken on more than she's realized with Zach because she doesn't know what he's like with his outbursts and everything.
Yes, I mean, I will say that she's taking on a child who... Sorry,
siren.
Oh, I thought you were calling me a siren.
You made that joke last week.
And I will make it again. I will make it until it makes the cut.
Board, yeah.
Until it makes the cut. If it's not in the episode, we go again.
Very well. Noted. I'll make a note of it.
So Zach has BPD. He is grieving. He has now lost another parent. Even Felicia being a nurse, she still doesn't know Zach like a family member or intimately enough, I think, to navigate this. She's really taking on a lot. And it's when she's having this conversation with Zach and she is misty-eyed, it does feel a bit genuine. I just never know where I stand with her. And that's why I love her.
In the next scene, we are at Breeze again, and Susan has been invited for a mic intervention under the guise of a cooking lesson. And she's so keen for this cooking lesson. She comes in with a box of stuff and she's so excited. Susan is surprised to see all the ladies there, but she's excited to cook nonetheless.
She has a cute apron on.
Yeah, she's really trying.
She's like, why am I the only one with an apron?
And then cut to the dining table, the ladies finishing up everything they want to say to her.
Which I wish, I know why we didn't, but I wish we could have seen it.
Fair. But Susan takes it very well, actually. She appreciates the sentiment from everyone, but isn't going to change her mind about Mike. And to be fair, the girls truly, there's obviously been a reconciliation between Susan and Mike.
Yes.
And I don't think the girls have been filled in, but surely they could have made some assumption that, Susan must have answered these questions or learned some more to get back with him or read his letter or something. They truly were like, no, we're not going to hear what Susan has learned. We're just going to assume that all these unanswered questions still exist. But, they were manipulated by Edie. Edie, I get it. It's funny. I just think it's a bit crazy.
I think as well, we don't know. I'm pretty sure at this point that Susan still doesn't have the answers that they're talking about specifically. In that she doesn't know why he had Martha's bracelet. She doesn't know about the gunshot wound.
True.
So I think these are the right concerns to be raising. I do think that Terry Hatcher delivers this beautiful monologue.
So her explanation here is that basically Susan says she's grown to be cynical over the years and expect the worst from people, especially after Carl. And she doesn't want to make the same mistake. So she's going with her gut on this one and choosing to be happy. And the woman and me, minus Edie, all get a little bit emotional. It was so sweet. It was done very, very well.
It was very much underacted, which made it feel very earnest.
Yes.
And I think there's something about her going, I know why you're worried. If this was the other way around, I'd probably be worried too, but I've reached a certain age and I'm ready to take this risk no matter what happens. And the women then, minus Edie, are all on board.
Yes. Edie, she's had her evil plan foiled, so she claims that this is the worst intervention she's ever been to. This is a phenomenal scene. This is the collaboration of the century.
This is the collaboration of the century. It feels so weird seeing these two characters interact. It felt like a crossover episode. I felt like something wrong was happening. It did not... Like, I was like, this isn't right. This is Jack from Lost interacting with Janine from Abbott Elementary. It doesn't make sense. Mike goes to Felicia's door, asking if Felicia knows where Paul is. Felicia is fully like, so you think Paul killed Martha? Would you like to come in for a snack?
Well, it's not as sudden as that. At first, she's actually quite frosty towards Mike. Like, why the fuck would I tell you anything? But then, after a little bit of chat, Mike realizes that she might think he killed Martha.
Yes.
And so after explaining a little bit, Felicia clocks onto the fact that she may have an ally against Paul. And that's when her demeanor suddenly changes and she offers him a snack.
Yeah, they get a common enemy. So, Felicia then makes Mike look like such an idiot by showing Mike the results of her investigation. She shows him Martha's journal. Mike asks why Martha was blackmailing the Youngs, and Felicia deflects, saying that she knows it was something to do with a murder. And I think this is Felicia going, you know what? I have done enough of your job for you at this point. You can find one answer on your own.
Pick up the pace.
Pick up the pace. Then, unprovoked, Felicia says, are you in favor of the death penalty? And Mike says yes. The reason this feels weird for me is not that it's an odd question to ask someone. In fact, if I've had a couple of drinks and I've met someone new for the first time, perhaps this will come up. It's that, isn't it canon that this is how Bree and Rex started their relationship? I was just taken aback. After Mike says he is in favor of the death penalty, Felicia's like, I like you, Mike. And she smiles so evilly over this cup of tea. And he says, he tries again, saying, do you know where Paul Young is? And she says, no, but I know where he'll be Thursday at midnight.
When she says, I like you so much, that might be my quote of the week. It's just her delivery. I like you so much, Mr. Delfino. And it's just, it's so menacing but polite. It's incredible. It's Dark Bree.
Dark
her
Bree.
peak.
Dark Bree and bad boy Mike.
He's got that leather beanbag to match his leather jacket.
Which does come up. It is in my notes.
Yes, in this next scene, Mike is back to keeping secrets from Susan immediately after coming clean about his past.
Duh.
He tells Susan that he won't be home for dinner. It'll be a late one due to some plumbing excuse. And in this scene, they're in the process of unpacking things from Mike's truck, which they've driven across the road, and I still stand by it.
Nope.
And when Susan goes to grab some stuff from the back seat, she spots what is one of Martha's journals, and she freaks out a little bit and equally lies by omission to Mike by acting like everything's fine. And it just annoys me so much that clearly neither of them have learned their lesson about clear communication.
What annoys me so much is that Mike knows Susan's going to be moving those boxes. Put it in the glove compartment. Just put the diary in the glove compartment, you absolute idiot. Also, Mike's lie is that he has to go away later for an emergency plumbing call. Susan then lies, going, don't you have to go to that emergency plumbing call? He's like, we've got another guy on it now. I'm just needed for later.
Okay, Mike. Okay, Mr. Delfino.
I wish he'd said he'd gone to the cinema.
It's going to be a late one, Susan. Double showing.
Oh, yeah. It's Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3.
So I'll be back in the far future.
Or in the past. Sorry.
So in the next scene, Julie the Vampire Slayer is trading slaying for stalking, as Susan has filled her in on the discovery and will be dragging her along at night to follow Mike.
Julie heard Susan say stakeout and she misunderstood. Oh my goodness. She's like, I've got my steak in my bag.
She's like getting in the car. She's about to take the steak out. She's all enthusiastic. And then Susan's like, so we're following Mike because then she's like, oh, okay.
Mom, I thought we'd have something in common.
Yeah. Anyway.
So Julie clocks Susan for bragging to all of her friends about trusting Mike and then immediately stalking him the same day. Susan reveals that she knows how to tell somebody. And she has done this before from her Carl days. They are behind Mike's car, and then eventually the car in front pulls to a stop. And Susan says to Julie, I'm going out there. Lock the doors. At least there is some care being taken of Julie.
Just abandoning her teenage daughter in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the night. Like, you'll be fine.
Sure. I mean, to be fair, she didn't even tell her that somebody was moving in who has a drug dealer, assault charges. Susan should have brought up with the bullets thing. You accidentally shot yourself, so I don't think you should have bullets in the house.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no, that's fair.
Here's the thing. Here's my read. Unfortunately, Susie Q is no Nancy Drew. Because she goes over to the car, opens the door, and it is not Mr. Delfino. It is some guy and some lady. At first, I thought it was Tom's boss.
Tim Dugan.
No, that's the guy who had a heart attack.
I just wanted to say
Tim Dugan.
It's so fun to say.
So it's people who are enjoying their affair in a car. Susan comes back and Julie immediately goes, you got the wrong car, didn't you?
So this next scene opens as they're driving back, and Susan, assuming that Julie is mad at her for dragging her out here, says, okay, next time I won't bring my daughter to stalk my boyfriend. It was a slight error of judgment. But Julie, she is in fact engrossed in Martha's journal and reveals to Susan, having read through it now, that Martha was in fact blackmailing Mary Alice.
I love that Julie's like, did you read this? And Susan's kind of going, I skimmed it. So the vital piece of evidence that you're clinging all this to is you've not touched. Interesting. Especially when Susan knows that Martha, in her journals at some point, wrote about Susan lighting...
burning down Edie's house.
Yes. Another thing. This comes later. I think it's in a couple of seasons, actually. But this is not the first time, canonically, that Julie has been dragged on a stakeout, because she reveals later, in later seasons, that Susan used to make Julie, as a kid, go with her when she was stalking Carl.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not great.
No.
Do you know what Julie deserves?
A different mother.
I was going to say a McDonald's on the way home.
But two things can be true.
Well, I mean, what about Zach? Zach's got plenty mothers.
Greedy fuck.
So greedy. So, Paul is at the baseball field waiting for Zach, but we know Zach's not coming. Mike comes in, pulls a Carlos, and just punches first thing. Ask questions later. Mike is in his leather jacket, so he is at his most powerful. And his first punch knocks Paul clean out. He is fully unconscious.
Was it a punch or like hit him with a shovel?
Was it a shovel? Did I miss that?
I could be wrong about that, because I feel like I was typing as I watched it, and for some reason...
I was typing as I watched it, so I'm like, roll the clip!
Well, we're setting up to watch the finale. We can check that.
So either Mike punched Paul so hard it knocked him out immediately, or bashed him in the face with a shovel.
Let us know in the comments which ending you prefer.
Maybe I got the alternative cut.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he meant business on that baseball field.
And again, we have to wait for next week's finale. In our final scene, Mary Alice voiceover talks about how nothing is forever, and this does not bode well for Rex. She says that when change finally occurs and the unfamiliar has taken its place, all any of us can really do is say hello and welcome. And with this, we get our first introduction to season 2 as we see a new family arrive in the middle of the night to move into the Mullins house. So let's all together say hello and welcome to the Applewhites.
I just got chills. I got chills. Welcome to Wisteria Lane. How are you doing, Applewhites? Are you staying desperate? We would like to know.
Are you as desperate as the rest of us? I hope so. It is a minimum requirement.
We get the montage of Tom packing up from his job, Carlos in a cell, and Bree seeing Rex wheeled away. And it does feel like Mary Alice is basically saying, "See you soon, Rex." I'll be waiting. But yes, the Applewhites enter. We see a boy about 17, 18 from the back of his head, and a wonderful woman.
I'm very curious to see how we're going to talk about some of their plot lines next season.
Yes, we can't shy away from it. A lot of this arc is extremely problematic. And I remember some of it being problematic at the time. So I feel like revisiting it.
Extra problematic.
Also, this is a season that in general, when I would rewatch, I would avoid season 2 quite a lot.
Really? Oh, interesting. Season 3 for me was the more underwhelming one, I think.
That's fair. I think, yeah, we're going to talk about it, all the ins and outs. But baby, we'll get there. We are about to sit down and watch the finale together. How have we done this?
It is crazy.
We are currently planning our bonus episode, our kind of season 1 recap, which we're very excited about. And yeah, we're watching the finale together. We're going to get under the blankets. I've bought some Maltesers. We're not sponsored by Big Malt. We've got some big water.
Big water. Can't go wrong with it.
But yes, we love you all so much.
Oh, wait, before that, though, we got to rank the husband's bestie. We got to get that worst neighbor. We got to get Monster of the Week. You're getting ahead of yourself.
I think I'm too excited about the finale.
Let's fire through. Right. First husband. Okay, let's start with Mike. Mike's getting a low score because he went back to lying to Susan.
The boy's a liar.
I'm going to give him a 3 or a 4 at most.
I would say 4.
4. Yeah. He's lied about more than he has in this episode. And if he's planning to murder someone, I can understand not wanting to immediately tell your person about that.
Yeah. Carlos is getting a 2 from me.
Carlos.
I don't know how you feel, but I am giving him the amount of hate crimes he's committed in one season. As
that feels very appropriate. Tom is solid 5. No good, no bad. Decor.
Yeah, I'll give him 5.
Yeah. And who am I missing?
Rex
was very much on, there was 6? 5 again? 5? I don't feel like he did anything wrong that I would say was wrong.
I do like his conversation with Bree about being nice to each other.
That was more on Bree's end, though. He was just receptive to it.
But I still think that in a moment of crisis was... So I'm like, okay, I'll give him a 6.
A 6, okay.
I think a 6 is fair.
Yeah.
And, he had a heart attack, so I feel a wee bit sorry for him.
A wee bit sorry.
And those are the husbands.
Great.
My monster of the week is the male. The letters and the mail and the postal service. They are my monster of the week.
That's fair.
Gabby gets the weird mail. Zach gets the letter. Mail.
Mail. I was gonna say my monster of the week is homophobia, but then Carlos isn't actually being homophobic, and also I simply have to give that title to George. I simply must.
Yeah. I think worst neighbor is George. He literally broke into the campus.
That's true. I did think about worst neighbor for George, but then it's said in the episode that he lives nowhere near the area, so I'm like, he's not a neighbor. But then it depends how we define worst neighbors. It's just the characters that we'd want to least live near.
I suppose he's
seems like he's willing to travel, whether you're neighbors with him or not, to be a creep.
He's showing an unneighbor-like quality, I suppose, that I do not care for.
I'm going to say the worst neighbor is Carlos because he stole a car from his neighbor. So that's my worst neighbor.
But Carlos has actually got no neighbours by the end of the episode because he's alone in a prison cell.
In jail. Well, he loves his neighbouring cell block mates.
Do you call inmates either side of you your neighbours? I genuinely don't know. That isn't a joke.
I couldn't tell you. I mean, you've had more prison experience than me with your sneaking in glass.
A wild statement. Well, Erin, as we know, you're the one with prison experience.
Episode title, Erin has prison experience.
Jail or mail? Who's the monster of the week? Perfect.
We did it. Stay desperate.
Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for being a part of all of this. We have been Erin and Jakub. We have been incredibly desperate and continue to do so.
And we encourage you to do the same.
Yeah. So stay desperate, babies.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Be sure to check out our Instagram for visuals, behind the scenes content, and more.
You can find us by searching for Modded, that's MEWDYD.
Or just search for Mary Alice, What Did You Do?
This podcast is brought to you entirely by us, Erin McGee
and Jakub Tanzi. If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to leave us a review. It really helps us out.
Join us next time for another episode of Mary Alice,
What Did You Do?